Nigeria in recent times has witnessed and is still witnessing unprecedented level of insecurity. Now that has made national security threat to be a major issue for the government and has prompted huge allocation of the national budget to security.
Now, the federal government before now had embarked on criminalization of terrorism by passing the Anti-Terrorism Act in 2011. Installation of computer-based closed-circuit television cameras, what we know that's CCTV, in some parts of the country's and enhancement of the surveillance as well as investigation of criminal-related offences. But how much impact has all these steps, had on the security situation on the country?
That's a big question. Now, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics recently published the country's unemployment rate for the fourth quarter of 2020, reflecting a continued deterioration during the COVID-19 year, with the unemployment rate for this period pegged at 33.3%. Another question is, what are the implications of insecurity in Nigeria?
Right then, let's bring on Chukwuma Okenwa, the Director, Lead Network Africa. And also joining us this morning is Dennis Amatri. Dennis is a security consultant. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to Breakfast Central.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. All right, so let's start. Let's even begin by getting your views on the current trend of killings, kidnapping, banditry, and all other crimes in the country. I start with you, Mr. Odemwa. I beg your pardon, Mr. Okenwa.
Okay, I think it's rather unbecoming and embarrassing. It has become a situation where to sleep in Nigeria with your two eyes closed is a luxury that many of us as Nigerians can no longer afford. It's rather disturbing because if it continues this way, the question is, where then is safe? If schools are not safe, religious places are not safe, markets are not safe, even on farmland where the food for the nation is produced, if food security is threatened, social security is threatened, economic security, like you just rolled out, those losing jobs by the day. And of course, when you look at the number of unemployment plus the inflation, that equal to in economic indices, what we call misery indices. So the misery in the land is ever increasing. Job insecurity, insecurity of all forms, both on the farmlands, both in the school. The question is, where then is safe? What is the hope of the common Nigerian? So it gives me a great concern.
All right, Mr. Okenwa, I think you've just, brought me to talking about the impact. We know that there are economic, social, and also physical implications, But I want to bring on Mr. Dennis, this one here. How would you rate the impact of insecurity it's had on Nigeria, especially economically now?
I think we have abandoned what we were supposed to do for a very long time. We're going to liken Nigeria as a house where there are rats running all over the place. And they are all over the place in such a way that instead of even catching or killing the rats, we are busy fighting with each other. And when we do that, it becomes a problem that is intractable. Now, all kinds of things are happening in the country. Nobody is taking leadership. We have governance problem. There are fundamental existential threats that face this country. And I think there is need for government and the people to address this problem. Otherwise, we are heading towards a precipice, and if we drop, then we don't have any country again.
All right, Mr. Dennis, talking about the analogy you use of the rats and how to catch them and what's not. Now, the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is the LCCI, recently warned that the worsening security situation across Nigeria may spell economic doom for the country, if not urgently addressed. Now, how do we begin to nip this trend in the bud? We're talking about specifics now because you have just said it, that we need to find a solution, but we need realistic solutions. How can we stop all of this?
Now, you know, when there is a problem like this, people are totally confused. So everybody, listen to the media, listen to everything that is going on. You will find out, you know, a cacophony of words. People are talking, solutions from different people. But let me tell you, let's focus ourselves right now.
Okay.
What are we facing? What are the threats? The threats are simple, and we know it. 1, politics. 2, ethnicity. 3, religion. And then, of course, the major one, the bomb that rolls all over all these 3, corruption. Now, if you want to solve a problem, first of all, you identify the problem. And when you identify the problem, the next thing is to solve it. Now, how do you do that? You have corruption, which is the major issue now. So that we are fighting Boko Haram, we are spending billions of dollars, but nothing is happening. People are saying that, you know, we've changed the service chiefs, new service chiefs are there, and they are saying that they didn't see any equipment from the last service chiefs. So what are you doing? Why are you not asking questions? Why are you not prosecuting people? Kidnappers have been there. Kidnappers are kidnapping everybody. Why are you, which one have they been able to prosecute and jail? Evans, who was a billionaire kidnapper, is still in jail. Nobody's talking to him. You know, Boko Haram has been there for 10 years. Nobody is, you know, we're not doing anything. So when you look at it, it's like a quagmire. We're just rolling around with emotions and going around and around and around and no solutions.
All right, I want to bring back, Chukwuma Okengwa on this one. Mr. Dennis just talked about, just highlighted politics, ethnicity, religion, corruption. But we look at the unemployment rate, Chukwuma Okengwa, pegged at 33.3%. Where do we go from here? That's a fifth, you know, problem if we were to add that to the mix now.
It's a very big challenge to the nation. And the truth of the matter is, I have not seen any structure on ground or mechanism set into place to reverse the trend. And like I did mention before, with the rising unemployment, because if you check quarters upon quarters, it keeps rising. Quarters upon quarters, the inflation rate keeps rising. So as the misery index climbs high amidst insecurity, that spells doom for the nation. And then who would want to invest in an economy that is battered by insecurity? Where will the foreign direct investments come from? And for internal businesses we have on the ground, security issues is a threat to those businesses, to the survival of those businesses, to the survival of the social fabrics of our nation. But then, if we want to really do anything in terms of the employment rate, you know, unemployment rate at the moment, or to enhance the level of employment, then taking this right step in the right direction. And that is first, government need to, especially in a COVID, in a pandemic era, because we are not yet out of the pandemic. There is a need for the government to strengthen the ease of doing business in Nigeria. Very, very important. We have harsh business environment. So many persons, if you think of the Herculean task involved in running a business, you probably prefer to be an employee. But then everybody wants to work somewhere, but we are not focusing on the job creators. There must be job creation before you can talk about commensurate employment.
Right.
So let the nation focus more on having the job creators.
All right.
And we can have more opportunities.
Okay, so just one last question for both of you. That's Mr. Dennis and Mr. Chukwuma before we let you go. Talking about this impeachment circle. Now, a federal lawmaker who is Dechung Bagos just yesterday said that the National Assembly will move to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari if the executive does not act on its security resolutions. Now, what is the stance of the law in a situation like this, knowing that this is not the first time impeachment is being brought up in similar scenarios in the recent past? Let's start with Mr. Chukwuma.
The truth of the matter is, the way the nation is, I think impeachment is the right step in the right direction. The conversation we should be having now, because from the body language of the chief executive of the nation, I do not see any clear policy direction in tackling this, especially as it has to do with those of them that have been found culpable for such offenses. What have we done to them?
Okay.
I mean, what other way can you encourage? Yes.
I wonder whether Mr. Dennis, agrees with that sentiment, especially from the comments of the lawmaker. Would you go with that? Would you share that same sentiment, Mr. Dennis?
Well, the thing is that, you see, now they are coming up with it, and because they are discovering that the politics they have been playing. Remember, I told you, politics is one of the threats to national security in this country. And now they are realizing that, of course, allegedly is causing the whole problem. So now they are saying that if he does not, remember how many times they have gone to the president. Sometimes they invite him to come, and he didn't call, he didn't show up. Now, so he, as the president, need to do something. And they are feeling that if they don't address this problem, people will come after them. And that's why they are saying that if the president does not answer their problem, they are going to impeach him. That is beyond party politics now. So, of course, let us see what happens, because they are playing politics with the security of this country. And that is not going to help for anybody.
Okay. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time on Breakfast Central this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.